everybody, welcome back to another lesson in my Czerny's Opus 599 for Solo Learners course. In this video we're going to learn number 61. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you like what you see, give this video a thumbs up. Also, I offer online piano lessons if you're looking for them. There's going to be information below. And if you'd like to get this very special edition of Czerny's Opus 599 specifically for solo learners, links will be below. Number 61 is kind of a virtuosic scale study in the book, and it used to be my favorite as a child because it's so much fun to play, but everybody falls into the trap of playing it too fast at the beginning when you're not really ready to play fast. So the key thing you want to understand about this piece is do not play it faster than your hands allow you to play it, and only go faster when you master the slower speed. Otherwise, it's never going to be even and nice. The piece is made up of three elements. We've got long scales and scale-like passages. We've got staccato and held chords in the left hand, and we also have Alberti bass broken chords, which is bottom, top, middle, top, bottom, top, middle, top. And those are the three elements. So the scales obviously have to move very smoothly, and these are in 16th notes or semiquavers, and the tempo mark is allegro fast, and we are in 4/4, so 4 quarter note crotchet beats in every bar. The key signature is C major, so no sharps and no flats, which makes it a little bit easier to read, and you don't need to think so much about the black notes. Let's have a look at the first two lines, which is the first 4 bars. So the left hand is going to start in this C major chord, 1, 3, 5, and then we have a G7, so a 5/7 chord, D, F, G staccato. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, rest. And then we have a G major in first inversion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a staccato C major chord. So really important when you play these chords to make them accurate, so all 3 notes sync into the piano at the same time, so you get a nice accurate chord. Make sure the hands are rounded, and you put a little bit of heaviness or weight into these chords to make them sound rich and resonant. And the staccatos, it's more of a forearm staccato, so the hand needs to energize itself a little bit. You don't want to come up too high, because at that speed you will lose your place and you simply don't have time for that, but you need to have some energy in those staccatos. The right hand has 2 scales, an ascending scale and a descending scale. Now the fingering is given in the book, and be very careful with the rests. Every scale starts with a rest, and this is the biggest mistake I see with students. They place the accent on the first note, and then it's going to sound like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So very important to see that the rest is the strong beat, and the next strong beat is going to be the F. So we've got 4 notes, including the rest, in every single beat. And in the beginning, it might be useful to exaggerate the first note of each group of these 16th notes or semiquavers to really feel where the pulse is, because that's the note that's going to line up with the metronome tick as well. So 1, 1, and that's the first line. Now again, the finger crossings are all there. It's like a C major scale, and when we get to the high C, we come back and then crossing and finishing on the F. It's very important to play these scales and scale-like passages with evenness all the way through. And the way to do that, especially fast, is to keep the hands in a rounded position, play with the fingertips, a very accurate articulation, and keep the fingers in a cup, in a closed cup shape, very close to the keys. So when we play something slow and expressive, we lift the fingers beautifully to get that deep, rich, resonant key attack. But when you play a fast scale, you can't do that. So you have to keep the fingers barely moving up from the note, but keeping it very clean. So no sustained notes. We don't want that. We want clean articulation, but keeping those fingers close to the keys so you don't waste time and energy on lifting the fingers too high up. And then the arm obviously is going to help with the movement of the scale. The second scale in bar 3 comes down from the high D. It's an octave higher. Be careful with the 8 sign. 1. That's like an answer to the question, which was the first scale. Hands together. 1. Now left hand staccato, right hand connected. Second one. And that's the first 4 bars. So really just a chord and scale coordination. Now when we get to bar 5 until the repeat sign, the pattern in the left hand changes. We get these Alberti bass broken chords. So the first bar is going to be a D7 chord, D, A, C. The second bar, or bar 6, is going to be a G major in second inversion, then a G major again in bar 7, and the final beat is going to be a D7 with an F sharp, and then a G major in a root position. So it's very important to practice it as a blocked chord so you understand what the notes are. And then very lightly and very evenly, without any tension, a little bit of rotation in the hand to move between these broken chord patterns. G chord, bar 7, D7 and G major. And again, this one is something that you want to practice slowly first and then go quicker and quicker. If the hand is starting to build up tension and it sounds like this, again, too much motion and it becomes very uneven, then slow down and keep again the hand in a nice relaxed position and listen out for evenness. Right hand has shorter little passages here, 5-finger scales, so starting on F sharp. And I put there use wrist circles because these are very short scales, so we do a little bit of circling up and down with the wrist. And then B, number 3. And lifting up the hand, so a lovely like a bow going left and right. And then bar 7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So here we had our usual arpeggio, which is very common in Czerny pieces. Let's put it together. Very tricky here because each 16th note or semiquaver has to line up between the 2 hands. So sometimes the right hand or left hand can run away from the other like this, where the hands are not together. So you want to make sure. And then a G chord. Now 2 notes in the left. And that's the end of the first section until the repeat sign. Now we go on to bar 9. We get again 1 bar scales and a few different chords. So the left hand is going into the treble clef. So we have a G major in first inversion. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. G7 back to the bass clef. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, C, C. The right hand has 4 scales which have the same pattern but starting on a different note. The first one starts on F. 1, 2, 1, 2. And here, because the scale is rising and falling, you could add some natural dynamics, so crescendo and diminuendo. So the hand again is moving left and right, a little bit of crescendo, diminuendo, and as you can see, it's a sequence starting from F, E, D, C. Now let's play it with the chords. 1, and then we get to the final section from bar 13 until the end, where the left hand finally gets to play some scales as well. Let's start with the left hand, so there's a rest, and then we start an F scale, not technically an F major, but starting a scale on F. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then treble clef, a C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to our broken chords, C major in second inversion, and then G7. 1, 2, 3, 4, C major. Right hand, F and A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Rest. Hands together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now the broken chords. G7. And that's the end. Such a fun exercise in the Czerny book. Many of these exercises are not too enjoyable to perform. They are useful, but not performance pieces. I would say this one is a really great performance piece. It sounds exciting, it's fun to play, and it's really good for your technique.